Hello! Long time no vlog. Yeah, but I'm vlogging today. I didn't think I had enough to talk to you guys for a full episode this week, plus I'm going on a field trip today, so that's super fun, so that I don't bury the punchline. Where I am headed today is out to Jefferson National Lab, which is a particle accelerator and particle physics lab out on the coast of Virginia. It's about an hour from Richmond, and they are having their open house today, and they only do this every couple of years, and I think we actually maybe were here the last time they did it, but we missed it, and so I wanted to make sure I went this year. So I am going to be showing you guys that. I think that'll be really fun, and I'm going with a couple of friends, so that's why I'm walking right now, is I'm walking up to campus to meet some friends, and I'm riding with them. So I'm going to be doing that. In terms of the knitting stuff, so I actually had to take about 5 entire days in a row off of knitting in the past 2 weeks because I had aggravated a nerve in my right arm, and it's the nerve that runs along the back of your elbow, and so it gets aggravated. Well, once you've aggravated it, anytime you bend your elbow sort of past, or you know, sort of closed, bothers it more. And so basically all I could do was try and keep my arm as sort of like fixed and immobile as possible, and that meant no knitting. So I did a lot of reading, so that was great, but so I don't have a lot of knitting progress. So I'll just quickly recap that here. I finished up the one shorty sock and have not yet started the second. I have made some more progress on those Leverds inspired mitts. I think, yeah, this morning I just divided for the thumb on the second one, and that's pretty much it. And then I started a new pair of socks, which are my travel knitting for today. I actually cast them on last night specifically so I would have something to knit today in the car, and so I will try and record a little clip and show you those. But yeah, that's kind of it. I kind of just, you know, and with work being really busy and stuff, I just haven't had a lot of time for knitting. So yeah, so that's why I figured we would take a field trip today. Oh, something else on the knitting front. So I had a really beautiful project bag sent to me as a prize for the current knit along, which I think I remember the name of the person who sent it, but I'm not entirely sure like what exactly their company is called, so I will put it here because I don't want to mess it up, and I will link to them down in the description. But like, oh my god, it is amazing. I'll try and record a little bit of video to put in here to show you guys, but it is just, oh, I can't even. And it's like just such high quality, it's really good. So I am super excited for whoever wins that. But yeah, so that's kind of it for now. Like I said, I'm just getting my butt up to campus so I can meet up with my friends, and then I will catch up with you guys a little bit later. Probably once we get out to the lab. So yeah, I'll catch up with you guys then.
Those are nice too.
Oh, those look nice. Hey guys, so made it to JLab. That's where I am right now. We're about to head into, I don't know, our first building. So we're trying to meet up with some other people who came separate, so we'll kind of see how that goes, and yeah, I'll show you guys interesting stuff as we come to it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. The use of Comic Sans on this poster and this poster is very distressing. Alright, I got some coffee. It's not great coffee, but it is coffee. And now I think we're gonna go actually see things, see some of like the detector halls and stuff like that. So it's facing me. You're not in the shot. I warned everyone I was with that I'm going to be vlogging and that I'll try and keep them out of the shots. And they're like, no, we don't mind. So we'll see. We'll see who makes it into the video later. But yeah, I'll let you guys know where we go as we go there. So I don't know how well you guys can hear the background noise in here, but we are in a computing center, and if you've probably seen these sorts of things in movies, the thing that you never see in movies or pictures is how freakishly loud it is. So if you can hear all that background noise, it's because they need to cool all of these things. And so it's just loud and noisy, and there's a lot of air moving. Actually, there, you can see the sign. So yeah, you don't want to be in there, because they need to keep it cool because these things put off so much heat. And what you can't tell is that these floors are actually like a raised floor. So there you can kind of see a little bit. So it's really weird because it sounds really hollow when you walk in here. But this is the kind of stuff that you need for particle physics because you run a lot of simulations and you take a lot of data and you just have to process all of that. So supercomputers are really important. All right, Nick, what are we seeing?
I am controlling the universe right now with an Xbox controller, go figure. I don't know what else to do.
What's the red dot? Right on.
Everybody wants to know what the red dot is.
You could layer some good audio over this, and this is like perfect ASMR kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
I actually never really.
Yeah.
It's like the video, the thing where the video, like the person talks.
Yeah, okay. Because I talk about it sometimes, and no one has ever heard of it other than like me.
I've seen. It's like there's one where like this girl just like bakes a cake.
Yeah.
It's like ASMR. Like watch me bake a cake.
Ah.
Whoa. What?
Science. Yeah.
Hey, look, a selfie stop. So this little clip is basically just for Wesley, and we had visited Fermi Lab a while ago, and they have buffalo there, like herds of buffalo, and so they may not have buffalo here at JLab, but I'm hoping you guys can see they do have geese, and geese are the most majestic of all creatures, so that's pretty cool.
Okay, so each one of these hills is a hall.
Okay, so which one is that one?
That is Hall A.
Hall A?
Yeah.
All right, so we are now in accelerator Hall B, experimental Hall B. I'm not exactly sure what the correct terminology is, but this is Hall B. They have multiple halls here. This is one of them. So basically the way that this works, and of course every facility is a little bit different, but here, right, so you have a circular beam, right, so that accelerates the particles around the beam, but you only have the actual experiments at very specific points along the beam, because most of the beam is just, or most of that circle is just the acceleration. So this is one of the experiments. There are other experiments in the other halls, but this is where like most of the magic happens. And if you guys have seen pictures of stuff from like CERN and stuff, like that's what the pictures are of, is of the experiments themselves rather than, you know, the rest of the beam. So yeah, I will flip the camera around, show you guys kind of what it looks like. I'm wet as well. It started raining as we were trying to transition from one place to another, so we all got wet. So that's really cool, but you know, it's worth it. So I will show you guys some video, and yeah, you can just sort of get a sense of like how giant these things are to look at like the tiniest possible things in the universe. So let me flip the camera around and I will show you what I'm seeing. Okay, so let's see if I can explain to you guys the different parts of what you're looking at here. So, I don't know, let's see. So you can see that little blue thing right there, that is the actual beam itself, that's the beam pipe, that's where the particles that are being accelerated, that's where they are traveling through, so it's not really that big compared to the rest of it. And so then these sort of triangular things around the outside, I'm pretty sure the electromagnetic calorimeters. And basically what these do is they sort of stop whatever particles come out of the collision, right? So you have these particles traveling through the beam pipe and they have a collision because they're going, some are going this way, some are going that way, so they have a collision and they spew out all kinds of other stuff. And so this other stuff will go out in all directions and it will, most of it will get captured within this sort of hexagon thing, these like triangular panels. And what these things can do is they can measure the energy of what they stopped in there. And based on the energy and sort of the direction and some other stuff that you can measure, you can get a good idea of what it is that you saw, what it is that went through it. Because of course with these sort of fundamental particles, we can't necessarily know what they are by directly measuring them. We have to sort of make indirect measurements. And so these are full of, you know, little electronics pieces. And so you can actually see over here all of these wires coming off of the side. So that's really what you get out of these big detectors, is you get like an electrical signal. So you get all these electrical signals and those go into computers, and then you run a bunch of simulations and compare what you saw to what you simulated and back and forth, and you refine your simulations and all of that. But yeah, that's most of what this is. This is a pretty common sort of structure to most particle detectors. Most of them will have this sort of electromagnetic calorimeter thing. If you guys have seen pictures of the CMS detector at CERN, you would have also seen those big red sort of rings around it. Those are what's called muon detectors. I don't think this has those here, but yeah, so that's a particle detector. Boom.
So when the charged particle goes through and it hits that wire, it creates a signal, you know, this one calls it the charge. And then that's how they are able to track where these things go. And we can measure, you know, we can get scatter movement from distances from the wires. And that's pretty much what we use to determine particles after the collision. There's this that big beach ball looking thing.
Yeah, on the end of that.
Yeah.
And
And that's downstream of the beam, but you can see when the beam comes through. And when I was showing you about all those guys trying to get those wires in, so that's from that guy right there. See all those things? There's like it's like millimeter, like threshold ranges that they needed to be put in just to get them all to fit.
So Josh, do you have a specific project that you're working on in here?
Bonus 12.
What?
Bonus 12.
Tell us what that is.
Barely off-shell nucleonic structure functions of the momentum of recoiled protons, spectator protons, off of deep inelastic scattering collisions.
Right on. I think that's as far as we need to go.
Yeah!
So they're like 100 times stronger as far as being.
All right. right, so we are now in a different experimental hall, and as you can tell, this part of the detector looks way different than the other one. This is Hall C, and this is obviously for a different, experiment that's being, or different set of experiments that are being run in here. This is a poster that sort of is describing what it is that they're doing. If you want to read it, feel free to pause now and read that.
This is what we published.
But yeah, this is a very different sort of experiment than what I'm used to. So I'm not even going to try and explain it. I'm just going to show you guys a whole bunch of science-y stuff. And, this is where the magic happens. And yeah, pretty cool.
It's just in your pocket.
Alright, so we are now...
As many pictures as you want, ask as many questions as you want. As you move down, we have experts that will answer all your questions more in depth.
Awesome, thanks. So we are now in the coolest part of the entire day, which is we're in the beam tunnel. So that's it. That's the thing. So this is an area that is like 100% off limits when the beam is running, like when there are actually particles going through these pipes, for lack of a better word. So during that time, you cannot be down here because the radiation is just so intense. So this is why this open house is such a huge event, because everything is off, and so we can actually be down here. So yeah, this is incredible. Very few people ever get to see this kind of a thing, and I will take you guys with us as we sort of walk the loop. I think we might be walking the entire length of sort of the loop, so yeah, pretty cool.
And this is called linear accelerator. And then when you get down to the end over here, so we'll start seeing the bending magnets.
So these red things are the focusing magnets, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so those red things are the focusing magnets. Basically what that does is it keeps the beam sort of in the pipe and keeps everything sort of together. And then as you can see, this is all sort of a big long line. And so we don't need a lot to keep them going in a straight line, but eventually you will need magnets to sort of curve them and move them and stuff like that. But yeah. I really like that sign. Like, who's just throwing trash all over the place down here?
Engineer.
So I don't know if the clip that I was trying to record actually got caught or will make it into the vlog, but I thought I would explain what it is that we are walking past right now. So these are these superconducting radio frequency cavities, and that's why they're in these sort of bigger tubes. So like in this tube, so that tube contains that smaller sort of, that beam is the same thing that's going through these tubes. But basically, I think you guys maybe would have seen it earlier, or if not, I'll put a little thing on the screen right now of these radio frequency cavities, and they sort of are like these like bubbles sort of looking things. And what you can do is you can change the electric field through those cavities, and because we're sending charged particles through here, charged particles get accelerated by electric fields. So if you kind of pulse the field at the proper rate, excuse me, sorry. If you sort of pulse the field as the particles come and you hit it just right, it's sort of like surfing a wave, and you can push the particles. So this is actually the accelerating part of the particle accelerator. So yeah, really cool stuff. You know, this is, it's not the only way that you can accelerate particles, but this is sort of like a big way of doing it. So yeah, and apparently that's it. I think I've reached the end. So I will give you guys a shot of what it looks like down the end. I guess we only got to sort of, you know, see a little part of it, but I'll show you guys what it looks like that way. I have apparently found another selfie stop, so Yay, selfie stop. So yeah, pretty cool. This, being able to walk through here is, like I said, just amazing because it's a place that so few people get to go. Even people who do research here and work here, like, you don't get to be down here when the beam is running. So like when you're actually doing the science, you don't get to be down here. So it's just a really great opportunity to be able to see it. I'll show you guys down the rest of the tunnel, and then we're gonna head back outside. So yeah, it just keeps going and going and going, and I think you can maybe just sort of see at the end. Maybe you guys can't see it, but I can see it in real life. Maybe if I can zoom in. I know that's probably horrible and it's super shaky, but you can just sort of see as it starts to curve. So yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so we are winding down the end of our day here at J-Lab. It was a lot of fun. I'm surprised actually how long we stayed. It is about 2 o'clock and the event I think ends at 3. So like we basically were here for the whole thing. The weather could have been better, but you know, whatevs. Overall, it was really fun. I'm glad that we came. The volunteers that were here today were like great. It was a really great event, really well organized, especially for how many people are here. So yeah, glad we came. Hope you enjoyed the vlog. And yeah, I will see you guys probably in 2 weeks is my guess. Hopefully by then I'll actually have made some decent knitting progress. So I will see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Make good choices.